Welcome into another 1031 Disc Golf video. I'm Isaac, and I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm carrying for the 2023 season, which is my first season playing an MPO. Let's get into it. Alright, let's first start with putters. I putt with roaches. These are just normal, putter blend roaches. I sometimes switch up the plastic depending on the temperature outside because the grip's a little bit different, but putt with the Discraft roaches. My throwing putters, my most understable is the Streamline Pilot. I just use this for standstill approaches, hyzer flips off the tee. I have a Envy, Axiom Discs Envy. You guys probably know what an Envy does, just an overstable putter. And then I have a Discraft Zone. I use this mainly for forehands. Sometimes I'll do spike hyzers or just hyzers with it off the tee and such. Then next we'll move on to mid-ranges. I have 6, it looks like. 3 regular buzzes and 1 Buzz OS. So we'll start with this buzz. This is just an ESP buzz with the Amateur World Championship stamps on it from last year. This is my most understable, using it for hyzer flips, and I'm working on beating it in to do turnovers with it. Then I have this yellow buzz. This thing is just dead straight. I can hyzer flip it, or I can do some turnovers and it'll fade out at the end. And then I have my most overstable normal buzz, which is just a Z Metallic Flex buzz. It's just a touch more overstable than that yellow one. Next is my Buzz OS, which by the name you can tell it's overstable. And I just use this whenever there's a headwind or if I just need something to finish hard left. Then I have a Dynamic Disc Justice. This is mainly forehands. I like it whenever I need a little bit more stability than my zone, so I can do flex shots with it mostly, and it just feels really good in my hand for forehands. I rarely throw it backhand. Then for my final mid-range, I have a Mako 3 by Innova. This thing is just very beat in. I like to throw it on hyzer and it'll flip up and even do a late turn. So this is my turnover disc. So, yep, there's all my mid-ranges. Now moving on to fairways, which is probably my favorite thing to throw, my favorite type of disc. We'll start with my forehand ones first. This is a Sexton Firebird 2021, I think. It's pretty understable for a Firebird, so I like to do flex shots whenever I need it to stay in the air a little longer, or just hyzer flips with the forehand whenever I really put some power on it. And some backhands too whenever I need just a stable disc that's not too overstable. Next I have a Z Raptor. This is my overstable forehand. I can just hit it hard and it'll go straight, or I can put it on anhyzer and it'll flex out. And this is really my go-to whenever it's anything forehand off the tee. Then I have this beat-in Dynamic Disc Felon. I mainly put this in the bag for hyzer flip forehands, but honestly I've thrown it a couple times backhand and this thing just goes dead straight, so I'm really liking that. I have 2 T-Birds in the bag. I have this Ricky one from whenever he was on Innova. This thing's just straight. This thing's just straight, or I can put it on, if I put enough ante on it, I can do a turnover shot with it, but it's mainly just hyzer flip or throw it flat and it just goes straight. Then this one is just a Star T-Bird. It's very overstable, it's new. I don't really throw it that often, but whenever I need the shot for an overstable fairway, that's what I use. MVP Volt. This thing is just overstable for me. It's probably around the stability of that of my Sexton Firebird, but this just feels better for backhand. Then next we have Streamline Disc Lift. This thing I love for hyzer flips. I just hyzer flip it and it goes straight, or I can do turnovers with it, just depending on the shot shape. Really understable fairway is a Innova It. This thing really pop top, and it's just understable. I could just do it for hyzer flips going uphill or turnovers if I need it, but really just kind of a utility disc. Now on to the distance drivers. My most understable. This is just an Avenger SS. Main re-rollers if I need them. I don't throw this thing very often at all because not really much roller courses around here. A 1031 dyed Sergeant. This thing is pretty overstable. It's an 11 speed, I think. And I just throw it flat and it'll go straight to stable. I did have an Onyx that did that, but it got beat in. Then next I have the Scorch. This thing bombs. With a tailwind, I throw it on hyzer and it gets a massive flex. Probably one of the furthest flying discs in my bag, at least like top 3. Discraft Force. This thing is mainly for just big forehands. I can trust it to come out of it. I can put it on Annie and it'll flex out. Then we'll go with, I got 2 turns in the bag. Got a Halo one, which is surprisingly more understable than the Champion one. So this comes out for tailwinds, and this is mainly tailwinds if there's just a light tailwind. But this thing, I can put anhyzer on it and it'll flex back. I think it's pretty overstable for a turn. So these are my go-tos, unless there's a headwind, and then I'll break out these, which is, I have 2 destroyers. I have a Star one and a Halo one. And this Star one is basically just straight for a destroyer. And this Halo one is overstable. It's the Calvin run from a couple years ago. Very pop top. And this one is probably my furthest flying disc in the bag. I can put this on anhyzer and it'll flex out, or I can just hit it flat. If I hit it hard enough, it'll get a turn on it. But yep, it's got the basic destroyers in the bag. My bag is the AX5 from Grip. This is the Ledgestone editions from a couple years ago. And it just does everything I need, carries everything I need. It's very comfortable on my back. And I have a couple patches, one with my name and my PDGA number, and a 1031 patch. If you want one of these, they're on the store, 1031discgolf.com. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Now on to the verse of the day. Today's verse of the day comes out of 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 and 9, which says, "Stay alert, watch out for your enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Stand firm against him and be strong in your faith. Remember that your family of believers all over the world is going through the same kind of suffering you are." The enemy is always waiting for the right time to strike with temptations or arguments or whatever it may be. And you just have to remember that there's always fellow believers out there that have gone through or are going through the same thing. So that's why we need to lean on each other and stay strong in our faith through these times. Thanks for watching 1031 Disc Golf.